What's going on, everyone? Jake here from WeTradeHQ, back here with Roberto, one of our mentors. Roberto has over 12 years of experience investing in the stock market. He's a certified fund manager in Brazil, and he has his Canadian securities course. So he's here to shed some light on, today we're talking about international ETFs, how to get started in them, some strategies, and the benefits of them. So first question, Roberto, how can we get started investing in international ETFs?
Okay, there are a lot of ways to do that, but I'm gonna explain some of them. One way you can, let's suppose that you like to invest only in developed countries.
Yes.
There is an ETF, there is World ETF.
World.
Yeah, World ETF. So there are stocks from Europe, US, Canada, Australia, Japan.
All over.
And only developed countries, right? But if you like to invest in emerging markets, you can have an ETF that specifically invests in only those countries, or you can have both if you want to invest
May as well, right?
globally and cover everything, emerging markets and developed countries.
Okay, that's
with two ETFs you can invest globally. With one ETF you can invest in developed countries. One ETF covers emerging markets. And let's suppose you like only specific countries. For example, I like China. I can buy an ETF of China.
That's simple. So once again, Roberto said with two ETFs, you can invest in essentially the world. Developing and emerging markets as well. A lot of us think of, the S&P 500 is, everything, but it's not. It's only, U.S. basically. So that's really cool. I didn't know that. So thanks for sharing. All right. So next question, Roberto, how can we build a good strategy with international ETFs? And where should we kind of start?
So let's imagine the person invests $1,000 per month, right?
Okay. $1,000 per month.
So especially if this person is an active investor that it's only looking for information, it's studying about the market. This person can select one specific country. For example, the stocks are very cheap right now. In 2016, the Brazilian stocks were very cheap. So if you invest in Brazilian ETF in 2016, you profited 150%.
150%.
In 3 years.
In 3 years.
It's not too bad.
Not too bad. Definitely not too bad.
So I think this is a good strategy. If you invest, for example, $1,000 per month, you can focus on a specific country that right now it's the best country to invest. For me, China is very cheap right now, so you can focus on the China ETF, and the prices are very high. You can focus on another one, so you can leave the money that you invest there. You can leave it. That's okay, because you're thinking a long term. But let's suppose in 3 years the American stocks are down, so you can start to focus on USA. So
you want to look at countries which are cheap, not only
I think this is a good strategy for, especially if you think about long term. You can adding money depends on the situation.
And it gives you lots of opportunity because there's so many different countries in the world. You can always strike and attack when something's cheap, and that's really cool. Okay, so once again, as Roberto said, look at countries where stocks are cheap, are undervalued. Undervalued based on certain events. So that's great. All right. So last question, Roberto. When it comes to emerging markets, and if you guys don't know, emerging markets are developing countries. Is it a good idea to invest in those, in say ETFs for those countries?
Yeah, it's an excellent idea, because if you look at the last 10 years, the developed countries were going very good, right? If you see the U.S. stocks, the P ratio of the average P ratio, it's very high.
Okay.
In comparison with the average of the historical average. Yeah.
Yep.
Instead, if you see the emerging markets, the last 3 years, the countries were very bad, especially because the price of the commodities. Yeah, the
so
price
oil,
is very,
oil, gas.
So most of the countries are in crisis because of that. And so from 2016, the prices are recovering, and they are doing very well, and especially, and if you compare with the developed countries, it's performing very well. Better than the developed countries.
That's incredible. So I know, as Roberto was just saying, the emerging countries were performing better than developed countries in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And that's because people are seeing the value in them, and the commodities are also fixing as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why I explained it. You can invest on the specific countries, depends on the situation.
Yep.
Yeah. And so if you focus on the last 3 years, if you focus on in the emerging markets, it's much better than developed countries. That's why I think it's in the correlation between them. It's very low.
Very low.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes you can the emerging markets is going better than developing, and vice versa.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And can you give me a specific example, a specific country that did really well?
Brazil is doing well.
Yeah.
Brazil, last 3 years is the stocks increased 150% in 3 years.
150%.
Yeah.
In 3 years, guys. That's very good.
Argentina increased 400%.
Yep.
In the last 5 years.
Okay.
But now the economy is very bad. They are facing a crisis, especially because the inflation is very high, 60%.
It grew too fast.
And some months ago, I think 2 months ago, in one day, they dropped 20%. I think
20% a day.
20% a day.
Damn.
And the index, you can imagine if you pick a specific stock, maybe 30-40% in one day.
Because the stocks always kind of react more than the index.
Yeah, sure.
Because the index is an average, we're one stock. That's incredible. So at the end of the day, you want to look at investments that are cheap, right? And one way to do that is look around the world, see which countries, might be undervalued based on certain factors, and potentially buy ETFs for them, and see great returns instead of just focusing in the U.S., right? Just focusing on your country. Look around the world. There's a lot more opportunity out there, right?
Yeah. Can I give one more advice?
Absolutely.
For example, we are talking about Argentina, right?
Sure. Argentina.
But okay, now, do you think the Argentina is good to invest now? What do you think? Maybe it's good or not? It's because the stocks dropped 40%.
Yep.
What do you think? It's good or not? It seems good.
It's too short. I would wait a bit.
Yeah.
I would wait. Like for me personally, I would probably wait maybe 6 months or a year, or wait till we start seeing it curl back up on the chart, because I like to, I'm more technical. I think if it drops 20% in one day, I wouldn't buy it like right away. You might want to wait a bit longer, because it might continue to go down based on more factors. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's good.
Would you do the same thing?
No, if you think about long-term investing, maybe right now is not a good idea, because the country, I think it's gonna face more problems in the future.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So as soon as they can control the inflation, and especially start to decrease the interest rate of the country, so I think it's gonna be a good idea to start buying something, but not a lot.
Start small.
And, start small, and increasing your investments over the time.
Over time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the strategy you like, right? You start. You never want to invest with 100% of your account, never. You want to start with a small percentage, but then keep buying.
Yeah, because you don't know the bottom, right? You don't know the bottom.
You never will.
It's going down. You don't know the bottom, so you can start small, and as soon as you see the economy, it's recovering very well, so you can invest heavily.
Yeah. That's exactly what I would do, sort of thing. Awesome. That's great. Thank you so much, Roberto. Today we talked about international ETFs. Let us know in the comments below what ETFs you're trading, and if you're in any international ETFs. Me personally, like I said, I only trade the S&P 500, so I'm not, but it'd be cool to see if anyone else is. And yeah, let us know in the comments below. Thank you once again, Roberto. You can check out his trading mentorship on WeTradeHQ if you want to learn how to get started investing in international ETFs or in the stock market in general. Check him out, give him a shout, because he's here to help you and teach you how to get started. And that's everything, guys. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.